The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Welcome back, children. So, in the previous two classes, we were discussing about the various nutrients that are present in the food that we consume every day, right? So, what were the nutrients? Carbohydrates, proteins, fat, vitamins and minerals, isn't it? So, we saw what are the sources of these nutrients and what sort of diseases will come when there is a deficiency of these nutrients. We also saw how to rectify these deficiencies from various sources of food, right? So, we understood what are the important nutrients that should be included in our daily food. Other than these nutrients, there are two more non-nutrients which are also equally important, which also have equally important role in the proper functioning of our body. Which are they? We can see the non-nutrients are water and fiber. What are these? How important they are? What are their roles? And how significant they are in performing the day-to-day activities. So, shall we see to that? The first non-nutrient is water. Children, as you all know, 2/3 of our weight constitutes water. If your weight is 30 kg, out of that 20 kg is water. The remaining 10 kg forms the bones, muscles and all the internal organs. Interesting, right? That is what 70% of your body contains water. More important is 85% of brain is made up of water. 90% of blood is also made up of water and 25% of bone constitutes of water. Very interesting, right? So, now you realize how important water is. Actually, 2.5 liters of water are being released from our body in the form of excretion through urine, sweat, etc. So, don't you think, children, that you should consume at least 3 liters of water every day? Just recollect. Usually in schools, after every period, we teachers insist that you should take a sip of water, isn't it? Now you realize the importance. 70% of water should always be balanced in your body. Otherwise, what happens? You would have observed during assemblies, children sometimes they faint and fall down, isn't it? They are unable to stand throughout the assembly. Why is it that? Why does it happen like that? Because the water content in the body is being released out through the form of sweat. So, the balancing, water balancing is interrupted and so the child gets dehydrated and thereby the child faints and falls down. So, that is why you should always carry a bottle of water wherever you go. Now, I hope you have understood the importance of water, right? Now, we will go to the next non-nutrient, that is fiber. What are these fibers? Fibers are non-nutrients. They never provide any sort of nutrients to our body. Then why should we have these fibers? Usually, fibers are seen only in plant sources. They cannot be seen in non-vegetarian foods. They can be seen only in vegetarian foods. Okay? It is actually made up of plant cellulose. You will learn more about this in higher classes, and it cannot be digested also. Fibers, when they go into our intestines, it cannot be digested. It is non-digestive. So why should we have these fibers? Yes, fibers play a very important role in the digestion process or metabolic activities that happens inside our intestine. What does fiber do? It gives the movement of excretory materials. Okay, it helps in the movement of excretory materials from the intestine, isn't it? We have to do excretion every day in the form of urine, sweat or fecus, isn't it? Number 1 and number 2. I hope you understand. All this excretion should be done every day, isn't it? So this fiber helps in the excretion of waste materials from our body. So I hope you understand the importance of fibers. Suppose you don't excrete at all for more than 2 days. 2 days and 3 days you are not excreting. What happens? Yes, definitely he or she will be feeling uncomfortable, difficulty to breathe, all sorts of diseases will get accumulated. So excretion is very important process for our body. The waste materials have to be released out, and that process is enabled by fibers. From where do you get these fiber rich foods? From where do you get? Usually fibers are present in large quantities in plantain stem. Unnithandu ennu parayille, that one. Plantain stem and plantain bud, mani, vaazhapoovu. All these are rich sources of fiber. Other than plantain stem and plantain bud, all green leaves, that is amaranthus, spinach, etc., all have rich fiber content. And vegetables, all sorts of vegetables and fruits also have little quantity of fiber in them. So see to it that you have at least some sort of fiber in your food. That is why we say parota, that is maida parota is not good for children. Why do we say that? This parota, that is Kerala parota, it is made up of maida. What is maida? It is refined wheat, polished and bleached to a very high extent that absolutely no fiber is there in maida. So what happens when you consume one parota? What happens? This sticky form of parota will adhere to all the intestinal walls. It will stick to the walls of the intestine, and it will arrest the bowel movement. It will hinder the movement of excretory materials from our bowels, that is intestine. So what happens? This one parota that you consume, it will take 3 to 4 days to be cleaned out from your intestine. So children, it is not advisable to have parotas. You can have it once in a while, maybe in 1 or 2 times in a month, but frequent consumption of maida parota is very dangerous. It might affect your intestines. So when you choose your food, be very careful children that it has got all the nutrients and non-nutrient factors correctly in correct proportions in your food. Okay? So I hope now you have understood the importance of nutrients and non-nutrients in your food. Okay? Children, now that you know the significance of nutrients and non-nutrients, don't you think you should have a smart food chart? You should have a smart food habit. Yes, all the nutrients and the non-nutrients should be included in your food in right proportions at right time, isn't it? Let us watch 2 children and their dialogues, which is given in your textbook. I have been eating only tasty food all these years, and I have been eating only the food I like. So children, do you realize the mistakes of these children? Tasty food and your favorite food. this is not going to give you the required nutrients and non-nutrients that is essential for your body. So, all these nutrients and non-nutrients should be taken in right proportions and right time at right intervals. That type of food we call it as balanced food. What is a balanced food? Balanced food is a type of food which includes all the nutrients and non-nutrients in right proportions and right intervals and at right time. So, we will go to the definition. Balanced diet, food that contains all nutrients in right required quantities is termed as balanced diet. How should a balanced diet be? We have a wheel for that, circle. You can see a circle in the textbook. Yes. What does this circle show? It shows 50% of your food should be carbohydrate. You can see puttu, dosha, chapati, rice, tapioca, sweet potato. All these are providing you carbohydrates. So, 50% of our food should be carbohydrate. You can see the next sector. It shows green gram fish, Bengal gram milk, dal, egg, meat. So, all these food items are going to provide you protein. You can almost assess it as 20%. The remaining 20% is leafy vegetables, carrot, banana, guava, again vegetables. So, fruits and vegetables. That is going to give you minerals. You can see that is also going to constitute around 20% of the circle. The remaining 10% is going to be oil and ghee, which is going to provide you the required amount of fat that is essential for your body. So, a balanced food should always be like this circle. 50% carbohydrates, 20% protein, 20% vitamins and minerals, and the remaining 10% is going to be fat. So, such type of food is called as balanced food. I would like to give you a very interesting information. WHO, that is World Health Organization, says that it did a research on the breakfast food items. This organization collected breakfast items from all over the countries, and it has given out a certificate that idli with sambar is the most balanced food that could be taken as a breakfast, because it has got the right quantity of carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, water and fiber. So, all these are there in correct right proportions in idli with sambar. So, WHO, that is World Health Organization, has proclaimed that this South Indian food item is the best breakfast throughout the world. Surprising, right? So, children, be very careful when you consume food. So, be choosy, choose the right food, that too balanced food. Okay? So, examine the food charts prepared by 3 students. You have a chart here. So, morning, Anil is taking idli sambar with milk. Mini is taking parota, egg curry, milk, and Sinan is taking idli with chutney. For noon, that is lunch, Anil is taking rice, peas curry, amaranthus and fish. Mini is taking rice, chicken curry and sambar, and Sinan is taking rice and fish curry. For night, that is dinner, Anil is taking banana, chapati, vegetable kurma. Mini is taking chapati, potato curry, and Sinan is taking chapati with egg curry. So, children, which do you think, whose chart is the best food habit? Obviously, Anil's food chart is the best food habit because it has got the right quantity of carbohydrates, fats, proteins and non-nutrient factors also inside it. So, Anil's food chart is the best food chart. You can go through all this. Below this table, there is one more table which shows the amount of vitamin A, B1, B2, C, calcium, phosphorus and iron in different food items. For example, tapioca, it has got 0 mg of vitamin A, whereas 0.05 mg of vitamin B1, 0.10 mg of B2, 25 milligrams of vitamin C, 50 milligrams of calcium, 0 milligram of phosphorus and 0.9 milligram of iron tapioca. So likewise you can go through all the food items that is given in this chart. You will be surprising and it is an information also for you. So okay. So likewise we have a food chart for fruits also, that is banana, plantain, cashew apple, grapes, guava, jackfruit, mango, papaya and pineapple. So we have a food chart, that is the amount of carbohydrate, protein, fat, calcium and iron present in all these fruits. So you can go through all these. Okay. We have a recipe of avial also. You all know avial is the most delicious and nutritious food of Keralites. Because why? Because it has got all sorts of vegetables in it and no additional spices like coriander, chili powder, all that, isn't it? So very delicious and also nutritious food of Keralite is avial, and we have a recipe of avial. You can go through this. So you think what all the different food items are nutritious for you. Okay. So we have completed our lesson here. We will go to let us assess. In let us assess, we have to arrange the nutrients given below on the quantity in which they are required. You can note down in textbook itself. So which one comes first? From higher to lower. So the first one will be carbohydrate, second is protein, third is minerals and the fourth one is fat. You can note it down in your textbook itself. So you can see two children saying minerals and vitamins are needed only in small quantity. The girl is saying in second question. Then isn't it enough that we eat very little fruits and vegetables? The boy is saying we get vitamins and minerals in required quantities only by having plenty of fruits and vegetables. Analyze the two statements. What is your inference? The girl is saying only 20 to 22% of vitamins and minerals are required for our body. അപ്പോൾ പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് പച്ചക്കറിയും ഫ്രൂട്ട്സും കഴിച്ചാൽ പോരെ എന്നാണ് ആ പെൺകുട്ടി പറയുന്നത്. The girl is saying like that. അപ്പോൾ that boy is saying that only if you eat large quantities of fruits and vegetables you will get that 20% of vitamins and minerals from that food. So what he says is correct. Okay. Now complete the illustration. You can easily complete it, isn't it? Carbohydrate, rice, wheat. What else you can add? Potato, sweet potato, tapioca, all that you can add. The next column is protein. You can write this in the textbook itself. Protein. What all things can you add for proteins? Yes, you can add green gram, egg, milk, cashew, groundnut, all that you can write. Next is fat. What are the different fat items? Oil, ghee, olive oil, sunflower oil, all that you can write. Next is vitamins. From where do you get vitamins? Fruits, vegetables, right? Leafy vegetables, guava, apple, you can mention all that. From where do you get vitamins? You can write the names of fruits: apple, orange, leafy vegetables, carrot, pumpkin. Next column is minerals. From where do you get minerals? As you see, seafoods. So fish, iodized salt. Then what else? Leafy vegetables, right? So all this you can write in the last column. So it is an assignment for you. You can do it in the textbook itself. So children, we have completed this chapter very successfully, a very significant chapter for present day. That is how important is food for mental and physical health, isn't it? You have to be mentally and physically fit. For that, food should be good. Good means it should be balanced. That is, right amount of nutrients should be there in your food in right quantities at right proportions. So be careful when you choose food items and don't throw yourself into cheap or junk food. So never do that. Once in a while it is okay, but be careful when you choose those cheap and junk food. Okay. So bye children, take care. We will meet in the next class with a new chapter, that is part 2. Okay. Thank you. Bye and take care.